Hey yo. Today I'm not really sure. I mean, I have an idea what I'm talking about, but it's different every day. Like usually Spirit will put something on my heart and be like, "Go make a video." And I'll be like, "Okay." And I go make a video. Today it's not so much. Today it's like, "Okay, Spirit, I know I need to make a video." Even though I still got one uploading because Comcast is shit and they've been doing some work in the area and they're shit anyway, and then now it's like super shit because because it's like overcast and everything, and so like whereas I usually have great Wi-Fi, or at least decent Wi-Fi, at this point Wi-Fi has been shit for almost 2 weeks, and I've been having to use my hotspot on my phone to make and upload videos. So that's kind of taxing on my phone. But anyway, so yeah, so this morning I was more like, what do I talk about? Spirit's like, talk about what you're going through, and I'm like, wow, okay, like which part? Is that like, just life in general? Is it like the love part? Is it the love and relationship part? Is it the career part? Is it the holy fuck, I'm just trying to be a human part? So I think we'll just start with the holy fuck, I'm just trying to be a human part. Yeah. So it's June 1st. We've just had a new moon in Gemini, and we are still in Mercury retrograde. It should be over June 3rd, but it's also, we're in the shadow for about 2 more weeks. So you still want to be careful with like communications and like your like there's all kinds of trouble with like hopefully this Mercury retrograde will straighten, when Mercury goes back direct, the internets will straighten back up and Comcast will be done fucking everything up and have it all straightened out. So yeah, I've never been a fan of Comcast. I don't even know what kind of Wi-Fi we have here at the house. I don't. It's included in my rent, so yeah, I don't even fool with that. But as far as, yeah, so like, what's your communications? The X factors where your exes are trying to come back in and stuff like that, are things to be cautious about. Did you learn your lesson? Is it, what is going on here? I like to not do anything in the relationship arena until Mercury has gone back direct and been back direct for a couple weeks. Like no new friends, no new anything. So yeah. But I feel like I'm being led to talk about how I have struggled all my life with things like procrastination and getting my ducks in a row, like for myself. And it may have a little, and I realize, and I've read, it does have to do with your self-worth and stuff like that. But at the same time, I've seen places and seasons in my life where, when I was working for someone else, whether it was my ex-husband, like running the farm, running the family, running the homestead, running everything, I did it all. Doing that, I had my list of things that I did every day, and then the things that he needed me to do extra, and all that. And I would get up, dark 30 in the morning, 30 minutes before daylight and start my day and make him breakfast, and then, see him off to work. And then I would have my Bible time, my study time, my spirit time with God, and until the kids would wake up. And then I would feed them the breakfast, and then we would start homeschool. And this was like, Anna also was going out to feed the chickens and feed the horses as well. And usually end up having to refence the horses, catch the horses and refence them. Because we had barbed wire, grass string from the bales, and fucking tobacco sticks, dude, for fences. So they would just kind of like plow right over them if they got a little hungry before anybody got out there to feed them their grains and stuff. They would get on that grass. But, and it's, with a job, it's easy for me to take a shower, get ready, show up, bust my ass, do the thing, be a great team player. It's easy for me to do that for everybody else because that's the way I was trained. But, like, and even when I was with my ex-husband and doing that for my family, I was also doing it for myself. But there was a fear factor there. I was, like, afraid of him and being abused if I didn't get shit done. The whole thing that drove that monster was, he would come home from work and accuse me of being a whore and sitting on my fucking ass all day and all this shit. While I've tended to our children, I have, like, cared for them, loved them, had some sort of structure with them, even started homeschooling them. So, like, get the fuck out of here with that shit. So I just told him, I was like, you know what? I'm fixing to start writing down a list of everything I do, and I'm going to check it off when I do it and make sure, anything I do, I'm going to prove to you that I'm busting my ass here at the house so you can't say a goddamn word to me. And that's how that went. And, pretty soon it was pretty obvious to him that his social security check, had he died, would have been a hell of a lot more valuable to me than he was. He actually went so far as to say so. And then I was like, oh, yeah, I realized that. But at the same time, I was like, oh, no, you're much more valuable as a human being. We care about you. We like you here. But I tried to make him feel better about it. So anyway, like, it's always been easier for me to work for other people, and so it's kind of hard to transition into working for myself. I struggled with that even whenever I would venture out and do entrepreneurial network marketing and stuff like that. It was like I could read all the books and everything, but I'd somehow have that imposter syndrome, kind of like how I did, I had my massage therapy, I was a licensed massage therapist in the state of Georgia, and yet I found myself where you can make $60 an hour plus tips, and I found myself working a serving job for $2.13 plus tips, and barely making it. I wound up losing everything, because I had imposter syndrome, and that's a real thing. You should definitely look it up. It's kind of like where you are naturally gifted for stuff, or you have a gift, or you have developed a knack or gift for whatever it is you do, and still you don't feel confident in what you're doing because you've been questioned all your life or told you're not good enough all your life. So you still are dealing with that voice inside your head that's like, are you really ready for this? I don't think you're really ready for this. You're not ready to step out. You're not ready to step out. So it's like, I'm going through that right now with my psychic gifts and my Reiki gifts. I've had my Reiki 2 certification for Jesus since December. I've had my insurance since January. And on my insurance I've got, let's see, and I can add more things to my insurance, but like on my Energy Medicine Professional Association certificate of insurance, it doesn't say on the direct certificate, like I have insurance to do therapeutic card reading, Reiki, and life coaching. But the funny thing is I still haven't completed my life coaching course yet. Like, I just do that naturally. That's me. That's what I do. That's what I'm doing right now. It's just naturally just talking to people and sharing stories and experiences for me. But, like, you know, it does need more structure to it. So it's just like, I'm just going to go ahead and be me. But at the same time, like, that's one of my major goals for June is to wrap it up and get my certificate. I've got a space ready for it on the wall up there. You see that empty spot? Yeah. Oh, at the what? Yeah, that empty spot, right? Yeah. See, I'm trying to do this with perspective. There's an empty spot there because I like symmetry. So that's my empty spot for my life coaching certificate, and I've already, you know, I got a frame ready for it, you know, so it's just like a matter of doing the shit, you know, just getting online, going in there and doing the work. And it's not that it's hard, it's not anything, it's just that I have been utterly, like, exhausted. Like, I'm an energy worker, I'm an empath, and yes, I've read plenty of books, and yes, I sporadically do things that help protect me and renew my energy and stuff, and I also channel from the source of unconditional love. But still, sometimes I'm just so exhausted, and it's for my own, you know, it's my own healing. And that's when, you know, I'm just now beginning to transition. You know, this has been such a long time coming. Like, I should have been transitioning out in December and January from my regular daytime job, which is I bus, or I'm a server assistant, and I bar back. And usually I do it all together. I was doing more shifts, and it was knocking me out. Like, by the time, like, I only work Friday through Sunday, and so I had so many shifts that it was knocking me out for, like, damn near the whole week. Like, I couldn't really work on what I'm working on now because I was too exhausted to put forth the energy for that. So yeah. And I couldn't balance work. I was sleeping more than I was trying to get out and be in nature, and not really. I have trouble with that. Spirits after my ass all the time. Get out in nature and get your mind right, get your spirit right. So yeah, and just, you know, putting off stuff. But I've always been great at procrastinating or putting something off till the last minute to do it, and then slapping some shit together and getting a decent grade, you know. And I don't want to do that anymore. Like, I was raised to be excellent. I was raised, you know, to do things with excellence. And you know, that came from both my mom and my dad. I think Dad taught us that by words, and Mom exampled it to us. Kind of the way that happened. Because, you know, my dad had his, you know, he had lots of mental health issues, and you know, he was a Vietnam vet, and he just, he never grasped how to heal from that, and to heal with it, or to deal with it, you know. There would be nights that we would wake up and hear him screaming, you know, and this is, you know, a good 20-some years later. He's waking up, you know, with night sweats and screaming and everything. So, you know, it was part of our life, was working with veteran, and, you know, because it was our dad, you know. And so, you know, I'm actually fulfilling something that I wanted to do in my life. I had plans before I got with my children's dad when I was in high school to go to the National Guard, get a scholarship, because I wasn't living at home anymore, so I couldn't get the GI Bill. And and become a psychiatrist and work with veterans and their families, because I saw the need for, not only do the veterans need help and need work, but their families need to know how to be able to deal with them, to love them and support them without being harmed themselves, and sometimes these men and women are terrified of themselves. They're like, oh my God, certain things trigger me and I just go back there. And, the next thing I know, I'm waking up and I'm standing in the middle of traffic yelling at some lady in her car, and it's terrifying for them to be shook, like that. And it's harsh, and the military does not do enough to help these people. They do not do enough to help the people who have given their lives and their sanity and their well-being and their family's well-being and the general public's well-being, the civilians' well-being, in order to go fight these goddamn wars that ain't worth fighting. My dad didn't want to go. He was drafted. And that's even worse, when you're forced to do something by your country, to go do something you do not want to do, to have to be afraid for your life and then have to defend your life against, women and children and stuff that other countries are using, or whatever, however, and then to come back home and have people spitting on you and calling you baby killers while all the time they was over here fucking each other, getting pregnant and having abortions. Who the fucking baby killers, y'all? Who was the baby killers? I ain't got time for that shit. Sit the fuck down and shut the fuck up. And ask forgiveness if you've been one of those people. How dare you? How dare you spit at a Vietnam vet? How dare you say any ill word to somebody who was forced against their will to go over there and do unspeakable things and to see unspeakable things? When you was over here making love, not war, but then you was killing the product of that. You was killing the life from that. You was taking the life of the baby. Like, don't play with me. Don't play with me on that. You old ass motherfuckers. Hypocritical as fuck. Yeah, I'm gonna call it. That's been a that's a rabbit hole. That's a whole different rabbit trail. But let me tell you what, you're fucked up for that, and you need to apologize to everybody. Make a public apology. Maybe one of the veterans that you harassed will see it, if they're still alive. If the government hasn't snuffed them out, because God knows the fucking VA is trying to kill them all out. They want the Vietnam vets dead. Why? Why do they want to medicate them so much that they just fucking die? What do they know? My daddy knew a lot. And, so yeah. And that's not to say that I'm not pro-choice, because I'm definitely pro-choice. And I'm not, like, judging anybody for having an abortion at all. If you find yourself in a situation, whether it's from rape, whether it's like, oh my God, this is not the right timing, oh my God, I can't support this child, oh my God, the adoption process is terrifying, and who's to say that my child will be in a safe home? I would rather terminate this pregnancy and this child's life right now to protect them from horrible adoptive parents who are going to abuse them and such. That is not the same. That's not the same as people who were like literally spitting at and cursing at and throwing things at and saying ugly things to people who were forced against their will to go over to a different country across the water, and defend themselves a lot of times. My dad lamented that, it was horrible that they were told that, you know, when these kids come up with these boxes of cigars, they have to defend themselves, because usually there was a bomb strapped to these kids by their own fucking people. So that's a totally different thing than, you know, being pro-choice now and protecting a child from something. You understand? So I'm definitely pro-choice. Always. I used to have questions about that. And, you know, I don't. I don't anymore. I see it as a part of a natural choosing. And, you know, whenever you have to choose whether your wife or your significant other, or, you know, as a mother, if you got to choose between either the baby lives or you live, you know, what you going to choose, especially if you got other children. You know, you got to make the best decision you possibly can, and it don't feel good. And I know people who've had to make some hard choices. So for anybody to stand and judge anybody for doing that, fuck you. But at the same time, people that were aborting kids had no business saying any damn thing to any Vietnam vets. You don't understand what I'm saying? Because one way or the other, you know. But so there's a big difference in people who are choosing today than the people, you know, it's one thing if you choose that, but don't go spitting in somebody else's face for defending their life against children who were made to bomb, or who were forced to be suicide bombers and blow up soldiers and stuff. Like, yeah, don't go there. It's not the same fucking thing, dude. Not the same. And you can agree to disagree with me or whatever, but like, I don't have a problem with people. I think it's a responsible thing to decide not to bring a child into this world if you can't take care of it, and if you do have the fear that the child will not be taken care of properly by the people who, you know, adopt it or whatever. You know, there's hella, I know people who have been in the foster system, I know people who have been adopted, and there's hella stories about the horrific things that these children endure. And, you know, if I was faced with a decision like that, or if I was raped and became pregnant from that, I know what I would decide. You know, some people realize, hey, I wouldn't be able to look at this child without thinking of that, and I would have a hard time with that, and that's understandable. That's understandable. Is it healable? Yes. But I understand it. And I think a lot of people should try to understand it, because you ain't never been in somebody's shoes. If you ain't never walked a mile in that person's shoes, if you ain't never been in that position, then shut the fuck up and sit down. If you over here judging people and calling them baby killers, go fuck yourself, dude. Especially if you're a woman doing that to another woman. Go straight to hell where you came from. Take your bullshit elsewhere. Wow, that got on a whole different tangent. Started out talking about procrastination and stuff. Oh my lord, and wound up with this. But hey, maybe it just needed to be said. Maybe I don't know. Fuck it. It is what it is. It's whatever came out. I'm pouring out the passions of my heart. But yeah, I don't think anyone should judge anyone for their choices, or what they think is their only choice. because it's, you know, come from a place of empathy, compassion, and understanding. Although I've never been in that position myself, I know somebody who has. My own mother was put in that position by my dad. She loved my dad. And while he was up in Delaware, he came home. He came home at one point. They obviously had sex. She got pregnant by him. He told her it wasn't hers or his. Oh, you're a whore. There's no way that's my child. You've been with everybody else. My mama was a loyal. She was a Taurus, y'all. She was one loyal woman. That woman never ever, she even told me that the reason why she thought that she got that tumor was because she prayed to God for men to stop seeing her as beautiful and stop trying to come after her because Daddy was such an asshat. So all these other guys was trying to get with Mom and give her what she needed because he was being an asshat. They just wanted her light. And so she said, I think that the answer to my prayer for God to make me unattractive to all these other men and stuff was getting that tumor and having to have that surgery where it fucked up her lip, and then they damn near killed her twice and had to take her whole pituitary gland out. And so she had to take all of her hormones and steroids, which kept her big and stout. She didn't look the same ever again. And nobody was hitting her up for that pussy. So anyway, Dad was up there. People try to tell me my dad said Mom was the only one. Oh, hell no. Love always. Jenny, 2/18/72. Right there. You can't see it etched on there because it's and he always kept this. It's St. Christopher medal for protection. He always kept it. It was in his little cheese box, in his little special box, in his special desk. It was Daddy Lee's desk. And, for my mom didn't think she had a choice. She was in college. She didn't know what to do. She'd gotten pregnant by someone who said that he loved her, cared about her, and then he turned around and was like, oh, that's not my kid. I want to be with somebody else. Did she regret it? Yeah. But my God, did that woman spend the rest of her life having children, raising children, being the most positive influence in so many children's lives? My mother worked with the Board of Education. She had her own daycares. She had her own preschool programs. She was a 4-H agent for years before they even had me and moved us back down to the fucking pit of hell to be raised. So it's I don't hold that against my mother, and God bless her. She had, I think, between me and my brother, I know she had one miscarriage, and she thought it was because she was working, putting together a swing set thing for the daycare center. She miscarried before she got pregnant with my brother, and so he was kind of like a miracle baby for her. And also because he was the firstborn son, that made him so important in Daddy's eyes. And, my dad was really weird about shit. But, so for anybody to judge anybody about having an abortion, judge not lest you be judged, lest you find yourself in the same fucking position. Don't judge people. Don't judge people for their choices. Provide them with information, provide them with empathy, provide them with compassion, or else shut the fuck up and walk your own way. If you ain't got nothing good to say, then shut the fuck up and go on. But, yeah. So, apparently, that's 30 minutes. I'm going to try to keep it, my videos at 30 minutes. And you see, you can see the cardinal there. That's in Mama's 4-H bandana. That's Mama mementos. And so, you know, Dad, he actually like threw it up when I was a teenager that Mom had that abortion, and she was really disturbed by it, you know, as a narcissist will. You tell them anything personal and something that really was a moral dilemma for you, and they will take it and demonize you with it. Throw it right on up in your face. So, you know, that's why I leave my comments turned off. Because I don't give a fuck what none of you fucks got to say. And as for the people that be like, oh my God, thank you for posting this video. This really helped me make a good decision in my life. This helped me, you know, understand that I'm not alone or whatever. I mean, yeah, it'd be nice to get some cool feedback like that, a little bit of, you know, maybe validation, but it's like, I'm just a messenger. I'm not here for all that, and I'm not willing to allow the bad to come in just to hear the good. You know what I'm saying? It's like the fruit will, you know, the fruit from it will be fine enough for me. I don't never have to know what my videos helped somebody do or helped, you know, I don't have to. It's not important to me. I mean, it is important that people find a peace within themselves, or, you know, that my videos help, but I don't have to know. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to be validated by that. And that's another whole video in itself. You don't need that validation. Because I don't have room for the trolls and all that. I just don't have time to entertain that shit or even have it in my space. So, I turn my comments off. And, you know, hell, maybe if you start your channel, that may be an option for you. That, you know, that may be your choice too. Because in the end, you don't need a validation. You just tell your story, babe. Tell your story. Something you've been through and how you got through it, how you overcame it. Hell, make a video and post that shit. Because you never know who's out there that might come across that at the right time. Because Spirit will put videos in front of you on your YouTube. You're like, why the fuck did that pop up? And you're like, oh shit, maybe I should watch this. You know, or oh my God, that's how I'm feeling right now. Let me see what this is about. You know? So, yeah. Anyway, that's 33:22. So I'm going to stop this video here. And apparently I'm going to start another one. To continue on with what I started out talking about. So, procrastination and rabbit trails. So anyway, we'll continue on with the original subject in the next video.